Hey guys, so the purpose of this video is to go over direct versus indirect evidence in case you needed a little bit more help. There's three sections that we're going to look at. Really, we're just going to focus on the first two because the third one was a slide for you guys. So we're going to talk about what direct evidence is, what indirect evidence is, and then you'll have the opportunity to compare the two on your own. So when we're talking about direct evidence, what we mean is making a measurement of one object, in my case object A, in order to learn more about that specific object. So you can see at the bottom it asks, is the evidence direct? Well, I measured object A to learn about object A. So there's some examples here on this slide. If you measure the temperature of a liquid, you are making a direct measurement because you are measuring the object that you're trying to learn about. If you measure how far something travels, well, that will make a direct measurement of that object. If you roll it down a hill, you can measure how far it goes. You measured object A to learn more about object A. You can measure the mass of something. You can see how big something is, how small something is. You can measure its volume. You can put it on a scale. You can take a ruler, and you can directly measure object A to learn about the size of object A. And if you want to get even more sciencey, we can measure the composition of something to learn what it's made out of. So again, we're measuring what object A is made out of to learn more about object A. That is what we call direct evidence. Sometimes, though, we can't make direct measurements of something, but we still want to learn. In this case, we make what's called an indirect observation, and we gather indirect evidence. What do I mean? Well, you make a measurement of object A in order to learn about object B. So think about fossils. We can learn about what dinosaurs looked like, but we can't ever see them. We can learn about what they ate by investigating their droppings. We can learn about their nests by finding fossilized dinosaur nests. In each case, we're seeing the object. We can interact with the object, the fossil itself, but we can't actually observe the whole living dinosaur. So we observe the fossil, object A, in order to learn about object B, the living, breathing dinosaur. We're doing this right now with other planets like Mars. We have rovers on Mars taking samples of dirt to try to figure out if there was ever any life there, or if there was ever any water there. In that case, we're measuring object A, the dirt, to learn about object B, life or water. They do this with cultural artifacts all the time. We make a measurement of an artifact, like a bowl or a vase, and we want to learn about what that culture used those objects for. Different bowls might tell us that they ate different things. We can also make indirect observations and gather indirect evidence to learn about the composition of something that we can't directly interact with. Think about the sun. Believe it or not, we actually know exactly what the sun is made out of: hydrogen and helium. Now, we can't visit the sun, we can't touch the sun, we can see it, but we actually measure its light, object A, to learn about what it's made out of, object B. That is why it's an example of indirect evidence. This last sheet is something for you to fill out on your own. You have access to this PowerPoint through Google Slides, and what I want you to do is, based on all of what I just went over with you and what your experience was in class, I want you to fill out the left side for direct evidence and the right side for indirect evidence. Come up with a definition. What makes evidence direct? What makes it indirect? Give me an example from this slide presentation. What was something I said was an example of indirect and direct evidence? And then come up with your own. Think about anything you've learned in science throughout your life. What is something that you've learned about that you think, oh yeah, scientists probably directly measured that and learned about it? And what's something that you think we learned about by using indirect evidence? Something that I didn't put on my slide about indirect evidence, but something that you can think about and say, I bet they had to use indirect evidence to figure that out.